The call came after midnight. Unknown number, no name, just breathing on the other end. I didn't say hello. I waited. There was a pause, long enough to tell me this wasn't a mistake. Long enough for whoever it was to decide whether I deserved the truth. "You should check the internal memo again," a woman finally whispered. "The one from HR." Click. The line went dead. I stared at the ceiling, my wife asleep beside me. Her back turned like she already knew something I didn't. The room felt smaller, thicker, like the air had been rehearsing this moment longer than I had. I opened my laptop. The memo was still there. Same polite language, same corporate smile. Role restructured, leadership realignment, immediate effect. Demoted. No warning, no conversation. Just a quiet push down the ladder I helped build. And the name above mine, her, 26. No experience, new hire. My wife's uncle's assistant. At least, that's what he called her at dinner. I felt nothing at first. That's how shock works when it's trained. Years of boardrooms taught me how to keep my face still while knives moved. But something was wrong. The timestamp on the memo had been edited twice. Once at 11:42 p.m. Once again at 11:58. Someone had hesitated. I remembered the way her uncle wouldn't look me in the eye that evening. The way his phone kept lighting up under the table. The way my demotion speech sounded rehearsed. Like he'd practiced it in the mirror to convince himself it wasn't personal. It was personal. I didn't accuse. I didn't ask. I observed. Over the next few days, I smiled. I showed up early. I congratulated her. Watched how she avoided my gaze but mirrored his movements unconsciously. Same. Coffee order. Same elevator timing, same late nights. Patterns don't lie. People do. My wife asked why I was so calm. I told her I was tired. The truth was, I was listening. Phone records don't show conversations. They show frequency. Keycard logs don't show affection. They show proximity. Every late night she stayed, he stayed. Every business trip he took, she posted nothing. Silence is loud when you know how to read it. Then I found the expense report. Hotel. 1 room, 1 bed. Booked under the company. Approved by him. That was the moment something inside me settled. Not anger, not heartbreak. Alignment. I understood the game now. He didn't just take my title. He assumed I wouldn't notice who really owned the board. His wife, 65%. Silent partner, untouchable. Or so he thought. I copied everything. Emails, logs, reports, photos he was careless enough to sync. I didn't send it yet. Revenge rushed is sloppy, and I don't miss. I waited 3 days before I sent it. Not because I was unsure. Because timing is everything when you want the truth to land like a blade. His wife didn't work from emotion. She worked from leverage, numbers, percentages, control. I scheduled the email for 8:07 a.m., right after the board received the quarterly performance report, right before their private leadership breakfast. Subject line, for your eyes only. No accusations, no commentary, just facts. Hotel invoices, keycard logs, edited HR memos, screenshots of messages he never thought anyone would read. I imagined her opening it in silence, coffee cooling beside her, face unreadable. A woman who didn't marry power. She built it. I was already at my desk when the first crack appeared. He didn't come in smiling that morning. Didn't greet anyone. Didn't look at her. She arrived 10 minutes late. Pale. Hands shaking just enough to notice. If you were trained to notice weakness. At 9:13, his assistant, no, his girlfriend, was called into a meeting she wouldn't come back from. At 9:26, security walked him out. No shouting. No spectacle. Just a quiet removal of a man who forgot whose name was on the majority share. He tried calling me. Once, twice, 6 times. I didn't answer. When my wife finally asked what happened, I told her the truth. Carefully, precisely, without venom. She cried. Not for him. For the illusion of family. I felt nothing. By noon, the board reinstated my position. By evening, they offered more. I declined. Power offered after betrayal is just another leash. I packed my office slowly. Colleagues avoided eye contact. Some nodded with respect, others with fear. They finally understood something I'd always known. I was never angry. I was observant. On my way out, I passed him in the lobby. He looked smaller, older, like a man who spent his life climbing only to realize the ground had disappeared. He opened his mouth. I didn't stop. Because explanations are for people who still matter. I left the building without looking back. Some people think revenge has to be loud, messy, explosive. They're wrong. The most devastating revenge is truth delivered calmly, by someone who has already let go. I didn't win back my title. I reclaimed myself. And he? He gets to live knowing he lost everything. Not because I hated him, but because I understood him. And that's worse.